Good evening. My name is Bobby Ross. We are glad that you are joining the Second Mile Student Ministry this evening as we paint with Perry the platypus. Everyone say hi to Perry. Hi Perry, how are you today? Great, we're going to have a wonderful time this evening as we look in Genesis in the Bible and see the creation story. And we're going to put that down on canvas this evening. Thank you for joining with us. Let's go ahead and get started this evening. We will begin in Genesis chapter 1, verses 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness covered the surface of the watery depth, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and he called the darkness night. And evening came, and then morning, the first day. Let's go ahead and let's draw the sky. Let's draw the wonderful blue waters and the beautiful bright sun. And we will see creation on canvas. So to start this evening, I think we will go ahead and start making the sky. And we're going to use this Caribbean blue today. And we're going to try to make the sky a really light colored blue. I love this color. It's a wonderful color. Gives you that bright blue sky. No clouds in the sky. It's one of those times, because we have been in quarantine. And it's nice to see the sky sometimes and not be in our home. And that's what we've all been wanting to do, is see the outdoors, the wonderful creation of God. Let's get a little more of that blue on there. Kind of cover the whole sky portion. Yeah. Isn't that beautiful? It's wonderful. Perry, how's it going for you on the sky? You doing good? Oh, that's great, Perry. Wow. And then I'm going to rinse off. You want to get all of that paint from that color off of your brush as much as possible. And then let's paint some grass down here at the bottom, as we would see some of the grass in the bottom. I'm going to take this evergreen color green and we're going to put that down. It is springtime, going into summer. Let's not forget spring. I know that our pandemic may have taken some of our bright green grass viewing time away. It may even enhanced it for some of us. I don't know. So let's go leave that right there. Oop, got a little drippy there. So we're going to rinse some of that off. Well, as we continue to clean our brush just a little bit, I think what we'll do next, we're going to go ahead and paint maybe a little river, some of the water, right through here, a really dark blue. And as we're painting this blue, we kind of wanted it to be a little bit light, but you can see a few things. Let's cover up. You can see the grass kind of getting into the water. It's like it would be on a stream, you know, and how God has mixed all of these colors together, you know, for his beautiful creation that we see today, that he wrote about in the book of Genesis. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? All right. And so it looks, you know, as we were reading in Genesis, he talks about where God created light, the light in the day, which was the sun. And then, of course, there was the moon for light for night. But the sun, let's paint the sun. It's so bright and so cheerful. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take a little smaller brush. I'm going to take some yellow here. I'm going to paint the sun. It's a happy little sun. Yeah, nice and bright. Right up here. Let's put it in this little corner right here. Beautiful looking sun. Get a little more of that yellow one there. So it'll be a nice, pretty picture of the sun. There we go. I think we need to add a little bit to that as we go along. So change to a smaller brush, and let's kind of make a few little things right here. The bright shining rays of the sun as it comes down to us. Perry, how are you doing with the sun? That's looking pretty good. Beautiful, beautiful sun here. Bright and shiny. Makes us just feel happy, doesn't it? Bright blue sky. Happy, happy time in the sun. Soon, as we are released from these safety precautions, and we'll be able to join each other a little bit more, get out into the nature and out into be able to see God's creation. I hope that it reminds you of the power of God, but also reminds you of his creativity, reminds you of just who he is and how beautiful he is. So let's go ahead and continue. We're going to read some more in Genesis. Then God said, and this is verse 11 in Genesis 1, then God said, let the earth produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and fruit trees on the earth, bearing fruit, with seed in it, according to their kinds. And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetables, seed-bearing plants, according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruits with seed in it, according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Evening came, and then morning, the third day. Then God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night. They will serve as signs for festivals, for days and years. They will be lights in the expanse of the sky to provide light on the earth. And it was so. And then verse 16, he made the two great lights, the sun, which you've already have drawn or painted, and the moon for the evening, or for the nighttime. And then God said, let the water swarm with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the sky. So God created the large sea creatures and every living creature that moves and swarms in the water according to their kinds. He also created every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So God blessed them. Be fruitful, multiply, and fill the waters of the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth. Evening came, and then morning, the fifth day. And then verse 24. Then God said, let the earth produce living creatures according to their kind, livestock, creatures that crawl, and the wildlife of the earth according to their kinds. And then, if you go to verse 26, it says, Then God said, Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. They rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the livestock, all the earth, and the creatures that crawl on the earth. And so God has created all of these things, the fish of the sea, the birds in the air, and mankind itself. So let's go ahead and put those down on canvas this evening. First, let's start with maybe some birds in the air. So we're going to see, let's see, what do we want? Put some birds right over here in the air. Beautiful, big bird, big wings, big and bold. They fly across the beautiful blue sky that God had created, showing the glory of God, showing how creative He is, His power, showing that He is God and that He is real. We read later on in the Bible where even the rocks will cry out. Creation itself tells us and shows us that God is real and that God loves us. One more bird, I think, right here. There we go. Some birds flying in the air. Wow. Let's go ahead. We're going to make, how about a fruit tree? So we're going to make the fruit tree. Here's the there we go, the trunk of the tree. Maybe a little more brown so we can see that. I'll make it a little bit taller here. See the trunk of the tree. And then what I think we'll do, we're going to use a little bit different color of green just so we can see the difference. And we're going to make some of the bushy part of the tree just kind of right through there. We can get some more green on there. Be a little bit liberal with the green there, so it'll kind of show up as a tree, kind of hanging out over the, give a little bit of texture there. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Perry, how is your tree coming along? Oh, yours is better than mine. I can tell you that. You're doing wonderful. So now, just because, even though it's a fruit tree, there's different fruits, we always think of an apple with fruits. So we're going to paint maybe an apple on here. Okay. Well, one there, maybe one right there too. Yeah. Let's make it a happy little fruit tree. That's what I'm thinking. Happy little fruit tree right there. Wonderful. Now we know that in the Garden of Eden, oops, that's a little big of a stem, but we're going to make Really? Light colored stem there. So we know that in the garden there was the fruit tree, and Adam and Eve ate from that fruit tree, and God had told them not to eat from it. And so sin entered into the world. Doesn't mean that it was an apple tree. We just think of an apple tree, but it was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And he told them not to eat of it, but they did. And so sin entered into the world. And so what we're doing today is we're painting. Think of these as just happy trees. Think of it as a happy apple tree, that they're happy birds, and that there's nothing that's going to get them down. But when sin entered into the world, the relationship between God and man was broken, and it had to be restored. And it was restored by Jesus Christ, who came and he died on the cross, and he was put into a tomb, into a grave, and he rose from the dead. He defeated death to give us the opportunity to restore our relationship with God, so we could have a wonderful, beautiful relationship with God. So remember that as we're painting here. We may see the happy tree, like what would be like in the garden and things like that. But sin did come in and taint the world. But you can overcome sin, or Jesus overcame sin. He took the payment of sin for us so that we can have eternity in heaven and have a wonderful relationship with our Creator God. But let's continue, as we need to draw or paint a couple of fish, I think, in the waters. So I think we're going to paint them yellow so they'll stick out. So you can see, yeah, it's a little bit different looking fish. Yes, as they're swimming along. These fish, I'm going to put another one. Let's put one over here. Because when you go fishing, they're not always in the same place. This one looks like this might be one of those big creatures of the sea, because that's a little bit bigger than the other fish. That. Yeah, there we go. Those are wonderful. Those are happy fish. Might be because no one's fishing and they're not catching them, but they're happy fish right now. All right. Oh, so we have trees, we have the sky, we have light, the sun, we have the birds of the air, we have fish, we have water, we have the apple tree, the fruit trees. I think maybe we need to draw a man. Let's see if we can draw a man. Use this one here. So I'm going to just use a little bit of brown right here. Go. He's happy, his arms are in the air. Just a happy guy. Might be pretty big because he's as big as that tree over there. Just think of it, he's off in, the tree's off in the distance. Think of it that way. All right. So there's man. Well, let's see, let's go ahead and draw a woman here as well. There we go. Let's put her in a little dress. Because women like their dresses. Yeah. And let's go ahead and let's try to put some long flowing piano. There we go. Here we go. And so for today, Perry, how did you do? Good. Good. For today, I think we are finished for painting our creation story. We have the sky, we have light, we have the waters, we have the land, we have fruit trees, we have mankind, we have birds in the air, fish in the sea. We could see God's creation now put on canvas, how beautiful it is and how wonderful it is. May this be a reminder of who our God is. May this be a reminder of who Jesus is. Jesus is our creator, God. So Jesus is God. We've studied that through the book of John. That's what I understand in your 40-day devotional. And we went through the book of John, and the book of John told us that Jesus is God. He was the God-man, and he came and he died on a cross to give us life and to have a relationship restored with God the Father. We've moved into the book of Romans, which really talks about salvation and how you have that restored relationship with God through Jesus Christ. So we thank you for joining us. Join us on a weekday basis as well at 4 p.m. in our Zoom meeting discussing the book of Romans. We have a little over 10 days left, and then we will be finishing up on our 40-day devotional challenge. So we would like to invite you to join us. Thank you for being with us this evening, painting with Perry the Platypus. Thanks, Perry, for joining us. And we will see you again next time. Have a great evening. So, Perry, how did yours turn out?